Hey everyone, Betsy here to share with you some of our new fiction and picture books. I'm going to start with, this is a little series. This is not a new book, but I don't share it very often. So this is called How Deep is the Sea? It's a little penguin named Pipkin, and he asks very big questions, such as how deep is the sea? One of the other books is how much is a million, or how big is a million? And so Pipkin he goes on adventures trying to answer his very big questions. So he travels down, talks to different animals, seals, whales, and he finds a submarine, and he travels down, 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 learns a lot about the different parts of the ocean. And at the very end of each book, I'm not going to take it out, you'll have to see for yourself. There is a big poster that helps answer his question, how deep is the sea, or how big is a million? So check him out. One of our newer books in our traditional literature series. We have lots of fairy tales and folk tales. This is a Pourquoi tale, which explains how something came to be. So this is how the whale got his throat. This actually comes from Rudyard Kipling's stories, and it has a great lesson about not being greedy, and along with explaining how something came to be, in this case, how a whale got his throat. Great illustrations, again, great story with a good lesson. So, how the whale got his throat. This next book is Michelle Nelson Schmidt. Some of you have seen Jonathan James and the What If Monster. Her books all have great lessons. This is Cordelia, and Cordelia could fly. And she goes through her story. What seems impossible, she did with ease. The deeper her courage and confidence grew, the higher she went, the higher she flew. And she flies with the birds, and she flies over the oceans, and she flies to the moon. And then all of a sudden, people doubted that she could fly. And one thing I love about this book is, so Cordelia gets sad because people don't believe her. And the sadder she gets, the darker, let me get to it, sorry, the darker the illustrations get. So just a real visual even of her feelings and mood. And suddenly at the end, who was anyone to say if she could or couldn't fly? What was or wasn't possible if they didn't even try? So she starts getting her courage back, and by the end, she's flying again. Great lesson about believing in yourself. Next, we have a couple of books. This is kind of an activity book. It's called Who's Next? Guess Who? Search who came and find who went. So it keeps your kids on their toes, paying attention to the pictures. First came Elephant with his friend, the lovely ladybug. Guess who was next? And they give a little clue. Your child has to guess what's coming. And on the next page, Tiger came next with his friend, the dog. Who left? Oh, and over here it shows, you can see the little picture of who was leaving and who is coming next. So on each page, someone leaves, someone comes. Great for guessing and building those attention skills, perhaps. Again, kind of along the same activity line, this is called What Will Danny Do Today? And in this book, if you've seen You Choose, it's similar to that, only with a little bit more of a storyline. You go through Danny's day, helping him pick out his clothes, pick out his breakfast, crunchy, chewy, or wobbly breakfast. How's he going to get to school? What's he going to learn at school? So just lots of critical thinking, discussion topics. Great way to get talking to your kids. I've shared this before, but not too often. This is Nibbles the Book Monster. Nibbles is a silly little monster who likes to eat books. So great features in here, books inside of books. He goes through and changes some well-known stories by eating through some of the pages. You can see he ate through Goldilocks and changed the story. He ate through Little Red Riding Hood. So real funny, silly story about Nibbles. And last but not least, we have the Osborne Phonics readers. If your child is starting to read on their own, great for developing phonics skills because it's great rhyming text. A lot of words that follow the same pattern. This is raccoon on the moon, and some tips in the back for parents about phonics. But we also have, so each phonics reader is $6.99, but we also have some great bound copies, and this one happens to be Ted and Friends, and it has 12 phonics readers in one book, and this one actually also happens to have a CD so you can listen along. So for those of you who have readers who are starting and learning to read, these might be some great additions to your library for practicing, rhyming and certain phonics skills. So check those out as well. Thanks a lot.